There is a lot at stake on the ballot in November. You can't avoid the presidential race, obviously. There's a record amount of money being spent on the U.S. Senate race in Iowa. Another race getting a lot of attention and money is the contest in Iowa to replace Dave Loebsack in Congress, and a lot of you will decide that race. It pits Democrat Rita Hart against Republican Marionette Miller Meeks. Hart is the chosen one by her party. She ran unopposed in the primary. Miller Meeks won a competitive primary for the Republicans. Follow the money and you see the Democrats really want to hold on to this seat. Hart had almost $1.4 million cash on hand at the end of June. Miller Meeks a little more than $500,000. We will concentrate on Rita Hart this morning. She was born in Charles City, Iowa, earned a bachelor's and master's degree from the University of Iowa. She worked as a public school teacher for more than 20 years before getting into politics for the Bennett Community School District and the Calamus-Wheatland Community School District. These days, she also works on her family farm with her husband. Hart broke into politics when she won a seat in the Iowa State Senate in 2012, then re-elected to a full four-year term in 2014. She gave up that seat in the Senate 2 years ago when Fred Hubbell ran for governor and asked her to be his lieutenant governor on the ticket, an election they lost to Kim Reynolds. She's been an advocate for education issues and funding over the years. Rita Hart has a Democratic machine behind her, hoping to retain the party seat in the House of Representatives. I spoke with her 10 days ago about the challenge of getting back into politics. So you spent 6 years in the Iowa State Senate. Your opponent in her first term in the State House. You got statewide name recognition in your run for lieutenant governor. Marionette Miller Meeks herself has run for this specific congressional office in the past. That does help her name recognition. You've been out of public office for a couple of years now. Do you feel this puts you at a disadvantage?
Well, I do think that name recognition means a lot, and so that's why we worked really hard in this campaign to get out early and talk to as many folks as possible, and have great conversations. And I think that's been the name of the game. We've really traveled the district a lot and talked to lots of folks and made sure that we have gotten as much name recognition as possible.
Now, you have a big advantage in money. How do you use that effectively? To what extent does it add more pressure to hold on to Dave Loebsack's seat?
Well, this is, again, a science of running for office that takes all kinds of things into consideration. And so we're very concerned that we are going to keep good representation in this district. I think Dave Loebsack was a great example of somebody that people respected, and therefore they returned him to office over and over again. I think that was because they believed that he was working hard for them. He showed up across the district, he listened to folks, and that's what I intend to do too. It's what I did as a state senator. I really enjoyed working for the people of Clinton County and Scott County. I tried to get to every single thing that I could get to and talk to people and listen to people on all the important issues, and that's what I intend to do as we are running here for Congress in this district.
Now, your opponent is a doctor, and she's using her medical experience and her service as the director of Iowa's Department of Public Health to claim she is better suited than you to help manage the pandemic in Washington. What's your response to her claim?
Well, I think it's experience comes into play in all kinds of issues. There's so many issues that we have got to tackle as representatives for our district. This pandemic has been particularly, of course, tough. 2020 has been such a tough year, and rightly so, people are very concerned about the ramifications of not only how we got here, but how we're going to lower this rate of infection and get through the winter. So I think experience is important, but that's why I guess I was disappointed with my opponent when she stood on the Senate floor and told her colleagues that they didn't need to use a mask, and talked about using questionable medications that had not been proven by the CDC. So to me, it's about, again, listening to the experts, listening to Dr. Fauci and the CDC, doing the things that we need to do that we know are going to make a difference to bring this infection rate down. That's what this campaign has always been about, is listening to the voices. And I think in a case of a pandemic, we need to be listening to the epidemiologists, the people who really understand a health situation like the pandemic has faced us with.
Part of my conversation with Rita Hart. More of that to come. Pandemic relief. Why she says another round of legislation needs to come before the election. For the record.